Hello everybody, this is ManuS and welcome to another Legends of Runeterra spoiler review. Today we're going to talk about all the Noxian cards that have been revealed 1 or 2 days ago. Sorry for the delay, I was busy with other things like the Teamfight Tactics charity tournament that I participated in yesterday, but today I finally got time to catch up on this one. So before we dive into it, you know the drill, hit the subscribe button down below, and now I want to briefly introduce you to today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by NordVPN, one of the leading virtual private network providers out there. A virtual private network keeps your data secure and yourself anonymous while using the internet. NordVPN comes with super fast servers, allows you to unlock your favorite entertainment websites like Netflix. They provide a 30-day money-back guarantee. They also have an included cybersecurity suite, which acts as an ad blocker to boot. They don't lock any of your data, provide a 24/7 customer support, and you can use it on up to 6 simultaneous connections, so one account covers most or all of your electronic devices. And most importantly, they don't have any bandwidth limit, so you can use it non-stop without it getting throttled, which is particularly important for heavy users like us. It also won multiple awards and comes highly recommended by top technology experts. So if you're still surfing online without a VPN, now is the time to change that. Get NordVPN now, 70% off for a 3-year plan, including 1 month extra for free using the code ManuS or the personalized link in the description down below. And now on to today's content. Alright, so time to talk about the Denoxin Spoilers. So first off, we have City Breaker. It's a 4-cost, 0/5. At the round start, it deals 1 damage to the enemy Nexus. So it's basically just kind of like a ping bot, so to speak, like just lies around, pings the opponent for 1. Pretty hard to answer because it has 5 health. It does some decent blocking against smaller units if you need to, and deals guaranteed damage, which matters for some synergies in Noxus that we will see in a moment. But all in all, I'm a bit skeptical of this one. It's kind of hard to evaluate how good it's going to be. Like, just off the cuff, I would say it seems kind of weak, because it is kind of slow. There is enough lifesteal and life gain and stuff in the game that this doesn't seem like it's just gonna like tick away and the opponent will just inevitably die. So it's not that great. With permanent damage in this game, blocking doesn't seem as appealing. Like in a game without permanent combat damage, a 0/5 that pings would be more appealing. So kind of hard to say if it's going to be like useful. My guess for now would be probably not. It just seems kind of underpowered and too marginal and also very slow. So if I had to guess, I think the card's bad. But I could be wrong. Like, it's really hard to say this early, so take these judgments with a grain of salt. Which is something that I keep emphasizing, to not rush to judgment, not jump to conclusions, which I think is done way too much in these games and in reviews and stuff like that, when we really don't have enough information to really know that much. But yeah, with what I know and just from my intuition and experience, I would say the card's probably bad, but I could be wrong. Alright, next we have Imperial Demolitionist. Well, the last one was a rare and this is a common. This looks a lot better than the rare that we just looked at. First of all, 2-cost, 2/3, very solid stats. Dealing 1 damage to a unit, to an ally unit. Has obvious applications in the Battle Scar synergy thing. Even just for like a marginal package, like just playing this and Crimson Disciple, I think it is, like the 2/3 that deals 2 damage, is a pretty neat like 1/2 punch direct damage package for aggressive decks or especially like burn decks, while also providing decent bodies that don't die to something like Avalanche and Mystic Shot, which is pretty nice. And then the obvious applications with other Battle Scar type stuff, and even not Battle Scar stuff, just on its own in a burn deck. It's basically a Mystic Shot to the face that also is a 2/3 body, as long as you have another unit. So this is much better than a regular unit that you can draw and then not win the game. While if you just need to top deck 2 damage to the face, like for example you don't have the attack token, you can draw this, play it, ping any unit you have, even kill like one of your 2/1 drops to finish off the opponent, which is huge. It plays particularly well also with Legion Grenadier, which then deals 4 direct damage in that situation. So there are a bunch of really nice applications. This card seems really good for burn decks. And finally would sell me on Crimson Disciple, I think it is, the 2/3, which I before haven't really liked in these burn decks too much. It was kind of too slow and too underpowered. But I think together with this, it might be good enough. And even if not, this will be an upgrade over it potentially, I think, because of this it basically acting as a 2-drop sort of aggressive unit, while also being a good top deck, which is often a problem in these burn decks, that you want to draw your units early, your like creatures, and your spells late to finish off the opponent, and then if you top deck a unit when you need some damage to the face, you lose the game, and now Imperial Demolitionist can do both things to an extent. It is a bit awkward on turn 2, like if you play the 1-drop and play this on turn 2, you might be forced to shoot down your 1-drop, which is pretty bad. So we'll have to see how it plays, but it's definitely a pretty interesting card that has a multitude of nice applications. It's a pretty cool card. Next we have Ravenous Flock. It's a 1-cost fast spell, deals 4 damage to a unit if it's damaged or stunned. So that's nice because that's some new utility support for the whole stun stuff that is a bit in an awkward spot and plays particularly well with stuff like Arachnoid Sentry. Like, you play a deck that doesn't have a 1-drop, which you often do in these cases, play a 2-drop, like for example your Plate Twirler. On turn 3 you play your Sentry, stun something, and then you can kill it with the 1 floating mana that you have, which is pretty good. So yeah, pretty nice card, quite flexible, fairly efficient. It's a lot better than the freeze equivalent, which costs 2 and is slow. So these two things make quite a big difference. Also, it hits damaged or stunned, so it has applications on its own. The other one has 2, it freezes if there's no frozen, like no 0-cost unit to kill, but this is still like better by a lot. It costs half the amount in mana and it is fast. So yeah, pretty nice card. I think this one is pretty sweet and interesting for Yasuo style decks, stuff like that, and just overall a very solid removal. It's also obviously great for Nox Ezreal. So yeah, just a lot of things this can do. This is one of the bigger deals for Noxus, I would say, together with the unit we just looked at. Then we have the Leviathan, an 8-drop 5/8 Overwhelm. When you play it, you draw a Swain, which is kind of neat. It's kind of like the big version of the Draven's biggest fan type thing. It's, I assume, Swain's sort of battleship that is bringing him to battle, so nice flavor there. And yeah, at round start, you deal 1 damage to the enemy Nexus 3 times. Not sure why it is worded that way. There might be some things where this matters. I mean, for example, I guess it matters for Gunsmith, for example, because in this case it would be 6 instead of 4. Stuff like that. So a bit of an odd wording, but I'm sure there might be some stuff we're not seeing yet where this also matters, because I can only think of Gunsmith right now, but I might be missing something. So yeah, this effectively is like an 8/8 for 8 in a way, except that it helps level Swain because it deals non-combat damage, and it also is good in spots where it wouldn't be able to get combat damage in or would die in combat. But yeah, overall, not that great. It's not that impressive for an 8-drop. I think 8-drops in general are a bit rough, but I could see it being good enough to see play. Like, I mean, it's a 2-for-1 and it gives you your champion guaranteed. Although, not sure how good Swain is going to be, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So yeah, another one of those cards where I'm on the fence, for sure. Speaking of Swain, there we go. This is the new Noxian hero. He is a 5-cost 3/6 fearsome. He has Nexus Strike, deal 3 damage to the enemy Nexus, so he virtually is a 6/6 fearsome, but only if he's unblocked. If he's blocked, he's only a 3/6, so he's basically a 5-cost 6/6 fearsome that is easier to block because it doesn't actually deal 6 damage in combat to other units. So, for example, you can block it with a 5/5 and not even lose your 5/5, so you're left with a 5/2 and they're left with a 3/1. stuff like that. So yeah, doesn't actually seem that great. Like a 5 cost 6/6 is okay. A 5 cost 6/6 fearsome is alright. It's pretty solid, but it's not super great. I mean, we have a card that's a 5 cost 6/5 fearsome, and that doesn't see any play. This is a bit better, but actually not that much on the front side. And then when we've done 12 non-combat damage this game, he levels up, so you can level him up before you even play him. One of those cards that you can set up and then get like the full benefits. Let's take a look at what he looks like once he's leveled. He's obviously a 4/7, like most units, he just gets +1/+1. Then we reach an amount of stats that is a bit more impressive, both in combat and in general, for 5 mana. And then when we deal non-combat damage to the enemy Nexus, you stun the strongest back row enemy. I was initially a bit confused by this weird wording and what the reason was. Back row basically means a unit on your bench that's not in combat. And the reason for this is obviously that there are non-combat Nexus damage effects that happen during combat that then would stun an opposing strong unit in combat, giving it even more of a combat impact. Like, for example, stuff like Saboteur, Boom Crew Rookie, that sort of stuff, would just suddenly lead to like the 2 strongest units from the opponent removed from combat, which probably would make Swain more powerful than they want him to be. So in this case, you only get to stun the back row enemies, which is a bit weird because it actually doesn't do that much. Sure, it enables like the removal spell we saw earlier. It helps a bit with Yasuo, but I'm not even sure how good Yasuo and Swain play together. But I guess they do in a bit, to some extent, which is neat because now there's a second champion that has some stun synergy with Yasuo. The damage that Yasuo deals with stun helps Swain level, and the level Swain then helps either Yasuo level, if he isn't already leveled, or deals a lot of damage with Yasuo's ability. So once you have a Yasuo in play, and this Swain stun becomes a lot more impressive. And on Nexus Strike, you don't deal 3 damage to the Nexus, you do 3 damage to all enemies. So he kind of whittles down the opponent's board. Especially if they have a lot of like small things that can't block fearsomes, then Swain will get through and just sweep them away. Stuff like Rude Awakening tokens, which are pretty prevalent right now. But all in all, Swain seems kind of so-so to me. Another one of those cards that's kind of hard to evaluate. Could be solid. I don't think it's going to be great, but it could be like a solid champion that will see constructive play. Could also see him just being kind of a dud and very fringe and kind of like the next Yasuo. Maybe a bit better, or maybe on the level that Yasuo is now. I don't know. We'll see. Need more context. Another one of those cards that's kind of hard to evaluate. And last but not least, we have Knox and Fervor, which I also assume is the spell for Swain. First of all, Swain is in the picture, so that has some flavor here. Also, it has a lot of synergy with Swain, and normally these cards are meant to help give you level progress towards your champion, and Knox and Fervor gives you 6 damage progress because it deals 3 damage to an ally unit and 3 damage to something else. So that's 6 damage total, so basically half of Swain's level up already. Not sure how good the card's going to be. Like 3 damage to anything is nice for 3 mana, but you also deal 3 damage to an ally unit, so it's kind of like Get Excited in a way, but you need a unit in play, which is a bit harder than a card in hand, and also it's more tempo inefficient, because if you kill a unit in play, you lose the mana that you invested on the unit, plus the 3 mana of Knox and Fervor, so it effectively costs more than 3 mana. But it has the upside of being sort of free in cases where you have high health units, where dealing 3 damage to them doesn't matter too much. Then it's just like 3 mana deals 3 to something, which is nice. So pretty solid card. How good it will play, we'll have to see, and what decks it can go in. But it's similar to Get Excited, just different strengths and weaknesses. And Get Excited is a very solid card, so not too surprised. This also, once again, looks like a pretty solid addition for these burn decks. Like the critical amount of burn that we're getting is pretty huge, so this seems like a great card for a burn aggro deck. So yeah, there might be just like a really burn heavy deck, like much more powerful and burn heavier than now, and therefore much better at executing the burn part of its plan. So you might just really only front load with a couple of cheap units, like 1 and 2 drops mostly, and maybe like just Cask Salesman on 3 as your like most expensive unit basically, and the rest will be just all burn spells and just burn your opponent out. This obviously also synergizes to an extent with the Cask Salesman's casks, so there are a couple of good synergies there. So yeah, Noxus, once again, bit of a mixed bag. Some cards seem potentially bad or hard to evaluate at least. Seems like Noxus might, to an extent, once again, be getting the shorter end of the stick, but it's too early to judge that. But relative to what we have seen so far, the Noxian stuff seems a bit on the weaker side. Like, there are 2 cards that seem really strong, and some other cards that seem very hit or miss, or even kind of baddish. And the champion is, I don't know, not impressing me for now anyway. But yeah, what do you think of the Noxian cards? Let me know in the comments, share your thoughts. Let me know where you disagree with me and why, and so on and so forth. I'm always glad to hear from you guys and have a discussion going. So yeah, that's going to be it again. Don't forget to check out our sponsor deal in the description down below. And if you enjoy the content, subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, share with your friends, and so on and so forth. And yeah, that's it again for this time. I'm your host, ManuS. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you with the next spoilers. Bye.